Hello, hello. We are back with another Facts with Dak. It has been a hot minute since I have sat down and recorded a podcast episode, but I am stoked to be here with you today. I am obviously in a different location. I'm house sitting right now, so we're making do with the space that we have. I was going to pack up all my stuff and go home and record, but I just honestly could not be bothered to do that. So I found a little corner that's no identifiers or personal stuff or anything like that, and we are just going to embrace the new space. I'm honestly loving the natural light, so I'm cool with this. Today's episode is going to be relaxed and chill because I am feeling very relaxed and chill. And it's been a while since I've been here. It's been over a month. I'm still going to get this out by the end of June, which was the goal, so technically still on track. The summertime has been crazy busy, I'm going to be honest. I have had family events, friends events, work events. Work is extra busy. I'm also really busy with house sitting on the side. And it's just been a lot. So the podcast has kind of taken a little bit of a backseat, but I still wanted to hold myself to the goal of doing one episode a month. So we are still going to get this out before June is up. But it's been a minute. So we're going to hop right into it. So first things first, we all know that I enjoy being informed and taking part in conversations about the world and politics and news. I'm not going to dive into that today. There has been so much happening in the world, and I feel very emotionally charged about a lot of it. And before I speak my mind on the things that are going on, I want to make sure that I have all of my thoughts and opinions and emotions sorted and managed in a healthy way. So there will be an episode where I talk about some things that are going on, because at this point, I just want to make it very clear where I stand with some things, because I think that it's very important to be loud about being a good or bad person. And I think that I would like to share I would like to dive into some of that stuff a little bit on the pod. But I just need to get my thoughts and things together a little bit more, because I take those things very seriously, and I want to make sure that the things that I'm speaking about are, number one, rooted in fact. The podcast is called Facts with Dak. We're not out here spreading misinformation. So I need to get everything factually checked and organized, and then I will be bringing some thoughts to either the podcast or my Instagram page. But we are not going to talk about those things today. Honestly, with a little bit of a break, I felt really good about coming back and doing it, but I felt a little bit, I don't know if nervous is quite the word, not quite nervous, but it's been a while since I've sat down and recorded a podcast episode. And so, I don't know, I sat down and got all comfy, and I was like, okay, we got this. Let's do this. Usually I just sit down and get right into it. I'm just all right, let's go. But the little break, yeah, I think I need to at least maybe keep a list, or keep my brain at least a little bit here with the podcast a little bit more consistently than just kind of put it on the back burner and let it sit there until I have to pull it forward. So I'm going to have a little bit of a pep talk as well, because there's quite a few people in my life right now that are going through a really hard time for various reasons in various capacities. But, as much as I am doing my best to be present and positive, there's a lot of things in the world that are really hard, and watching and supporting people around me that I care about and love go through really difficult things, it's also taxing on the support system to a point. And so we're going to have a little pep talk at the end of this episode as well, because I think that we all could use a little bit of extra love right now. Okay, so one of the more exciting things that I did this month was attend my baby brother's grade 12 graduation. I was more emotional than I expected to be. I'm a sap. I'm a big sap. I like anything slightly emotional. I'm like right there. If I see someone crying, I'm crying. I'm that person. So I expected to be somewhat emotional, but it got me. It got me so good. Not even like just the parts about my brother, like the valedictorian speech and stuff. These kids did such a great job. And just like, I don't know, there's so many just ridiculous news stories and terrible shit happening in the world. And it was kind of nice to see this like generation of kids that like very clearly were very compassionate and empathetic and like thoughtful and accepting. I was very impressed. I was very impressed by these children. And it was very like heartwarming. It felt very heartwarming to hear the speeches and see all of these kids like succeeding to such a large degree. I don't know exactly, but honestly, it felt like majority of the students were on a roll with distinction, which means that your school average is higher than a 90%, which to me is wild. Like there was definitely a few when I went to school, but it seemed like every second or third kid that graduated was on a roll with distinction. Like it was wild. So it was a very heartwarming, emotional day. I'm also very proud of my baby brother. He's my half brother, and there's 13 years between us. So we didn't really grow up together. I moved out when I was 18, so he was still really young. And okay, we just had to pause really quick for some cat things, but I'm back. With grad, it's kind of different because, like I said, there's 13 years between my half brother and I, and so while he's my brother, we're not super close. There's a huge age gap and just like totally different generations. But it was a very emotional moment. I felt old, number one, just because, I remember when he was born, like a baby and all of the different stages of life. And to me, he's still that just like little kid. And so to kind of think about him being done high school and he's taking a gap year and kind of like figuring out what he wants to do, thinking about his career, like that kid's a full blown adult now. And, to some capacity, of course, but, it's just wild. It's wild. I'm not a parent, but you hear the phrase like they grow up so fast or it goes so fast or whatever. That's true. It's not even my kid. And I'm like, you're supposed to be 4. Like, I knew it was coming, but I was not prepared. I was not prepared at all. And so it was really cool to be able to see him kind of be an adult and celebrate this milestone and spend time with my family. We went for a little dinner after. For those of you that live in Saskatoon, we went to Mano's for dinner. I have not been to Mano's in a long ass time, but let me tell you, it was delicious. I was so pleased. I'm not a picky eater. I'll eat pretty much anything. But like pasta and potatoes and love me some pasta and potatoes, any kind. So I ended up getting a huge pasta dish and I ate half of it and I still had like an entire meal afterwards. It was very impressive, but all of the food was delicious. And I honestly, I'm trying to think now. I don't think I had ever actually gone and sat down for a meal inside Mano's. When I was in high school, I used to go on the weekends and order an entire thing of dry ribs and a piece of cheesecake because their cheesecake is one of the best in the city. It's incredible. It's so good. I am someone that likes like a funkier cheesecake. Like it's got to be like a cheesecake, not just super sweet. And they do a really good job of that. So 10 out of 10 recommend Mano's cheesecake if you're in Saskatoon. But I had never gotten anything other than dry ribs and cheesecake. And I had never actually gone and like been in the restaurant. So it's a very nice place. The food was delicious and there was quite a big group of us and they did a really great job. The staff was great. And yeah, it was overall really great experience. 10 out of 10. This is not paid or anything like that, but I enjoyed my time at Manos and would recommend going. It was a nice little place. And so, this past week, it was emotional. It was busy. We also had photos taken for his grad. So, it was a jam-packed week with a bunch of family events and things like that. And I've kind of just been reminiscing, feeling nostalgic, thinking about when we were much younger and he was a really little kid, and looking at old pictures and stuff like that. And it's cool to see your much younger siblings take on the world. And I'm excited to see what he does with his life and in his gap year, what he's going to spend his time doing, hobbies or work or what. It's fascinating to me, and it's just exciting. And I'm not the parent, like I said, but I was definitely emotional. I felt emotional about it. I was very proud of him. I am very proud of him. And yeah, it was a pretty exciting month. Now, something else that I was thinking about when it came to grads is when I graduated, which would have been, let me just do some quick math, about 15 years ago, which is crazy. I think next year actually will be 15 years, but when I graduated, I think my graduating class was 150-ish people. And we thought that was huge. That was a lot of people. It felt like a really long grad. And my half-brother's graduation had over 300 kids in their graduating class. Another school in the city had 600 kids in their graduating class, which is insane. I can't even imagine having that many kids in one grade. Growing up, I didn't hear much about that because a lot of my family grew up in small towns. So their graduating classes were 20 people or 30 people. And that was big. That was a big deal. So mine at 150 was totally unheard of. And I just can't imagine, even when I graduated, I knew most of the people in my graduating class. I feel like I could recognize and know at least the first name of all of the people in the photo of my graduating class. That's not the case anymore with how large they are. You are graduating with people that you maybe you've crossed in the hallway. I'm sure at some point you've crossed paths at least, but that you don't know by name. And that feels weird to me. This also might be a Saskatchewan thing, just a smaller city thing. I'm sure in the States and stuff like that, when they graduate high school, it's probably not that, because I feel like those schools, the capacity is so much larger. But I don't know. It's an odd concept to me. I knew everyone I graduated with. I was on pretty good terms with everyone I graduated with. I wasn't best friends with everyone, but I could shoot the shit with anyone. And it's just strange to think about not knowing people that you went to school with for 4 years, in that grade. It's just a very different concept than when I went to school. And I know that there's so much more to deal with when it comes to being a teenager and going through that coming of age era of your life. But I think that would be so much harder. We talk about the stress and the pressure that it puts on the teachers and the EAs and the school division and all of the people that educate our kids when they're in school. But the pressure and just the busyness that would come from having that many kids, the lack of support, and just kind of mess of people that would be competing for attention from teachers and coaches and all of those things. And like I said, support or help. I think it would make it a lot harder to navigate. And I had not really considered that prior to thinking about the number of graduating people in one grade and class. And so I've been thinking about that a little bit more through, especially this past week, going to the graduation and things like that. I've had a little bit of extra grace and a little bit of extra empathy for the teenagers lately because they are going through it. And I don't think that they get the credit that they deserve a lot of the time. If you're a teen going through, I have some teens that listen to this or watch this, which seems odd to me, but it's facts. according to the Spotify numbers and breakdowns. So if you're a teen and you're listening or watching this, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. High school was hard. I enjoyed high school for the most part, but it's hard. You know, kids are nasty. Lack of support would suck. Social media is terrible. And if you are pushing through it and putting your head down and getting your shit done and enjoying the pieces that you can, I think you're doing a great job. And if you graduated this year and you're done grade 12 and you're out of high school, whoa, I just got a little bit emotional. Just thinking about my brother. Don't mind me. You know, if you're entering the next phase of your life after being in high school, it's very different and most likely will kick you in the ass a little bit. But you made it. You did it. You did all the tests. You did all the hard shit. You dealt with all the bullshit that comes along with being in high school. And you made it. So feel proud. Feel good. Enjoy the time that you've got, especially over the summer. If you're going right into a job or something like that, try to find some time for yourself. But graduation season is a big one, and it's a huge milestone. You've put in so much work, and I think that deserves a lot of recognition and a lot of pride. You should feel very proud. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is completely unrelated. I have a couple notes of like things that I've thought about during the month that I was like, oh, I should talk about that on the podcast. Some of it, I'm going to break it up a little bit because it's all over the map. I've got shit coming from all angles, but I got to talk about AI. I got to talk about AI a little bit. I'm so sorry. I'm sure most of you are going to disagree with me on this because that seems to be the general consensus, but fuck AI. Chat GPT, all that shit. I'm super not here for it. And I know that's going to be a hot take. People love Chat GPT, and I understand why. I get why you love it. But you shouldn't. The amount of people I know that are using it to replace their critical thinking and make decisions for their life, it worries me. It concerns me, okay? We are already experiencing a time with a general lack of critical thinking and empathy and compassion for other people. And I think that the more reliant we become on technology to answer questions and form opinions for us, it's just going to continue on the road of lacking all of those things. It's so frustrating to me. It's also so bad for the environment. It's so bad. Like, we're already doing so bad, and there's things happening in the States that are going to make it directly worse at a very large scale. And I just want you to be able to form your own thoughts, do your own research, and feel capable and confident enough in yourself, in your knowledge or your ability to learn, to avoid relying on technology to do these things for you. I know that it can be really helpful, and I know that it can sidestep things and make processes easier. But that is such a slippery slope, people. Like, I just... I hate it. I hate it so much. I strongly, strongly dislike it. I don't support it. I don't have it. I don't use it because I just don't want to fall into that trap. I don't want to become reliant on it for anything. I want to be able to feel capable in my ability to learn new things, and to execute things and to form my own personal educated opinions. And I don't want a cheat sheet. Like, I don't want to sidestep parts of that process. And there's going to be arguments for things like that are simple little tasks. And yes, like, once in a while is, I can't even recommend it once in a while. I just fully don't support it. But I understand the arguments for it. I hear you. I just disagree. I disagree. I don't think that people should be using it for jobs. I don't think that people should be using it for school. I don't think you should be using it for art. It's technology, okay? And as far as we've come, it's still technology. It can still malfunction. Things can still go wrong. There's already been so many cases of misinformation being spread from using AI because AI pulls references from everywhere. AI isn't coming up with these things on its own. It's just got the ability to reach out all of its arms to all of the info and bring you the best case match for what you've asked it. It's not magic. It's not coming up with things on its own, and nothing that you get from AI is original. It's all taken from a reference point from somewhere else. So I especially have a problem with AI when it comes to artwork, because even if you're generating an original photo from AI, it's not an original photo because AI is just taking references from other artists and mashing it all up together. And that might not be like direct copying or direct plagiarism, but it's like enough of a sprinkle that I just, I can't. I'm not here for it. I don't like it. I don't use it. And I am concerned for how many people I've heard recently relying on it, straight up relying on it, like asking it for life advice, and it makes my heart sad. It honestly does. It makes my heart sad because my brain can put itself in the shoes of someone else, and I can understand asking something for life advice if you don't have other people to talk to about it. And that's why my heart's sad about it, because I understand feeling alone and needing to talk and not having an avenue to do that. And I'm not saying to stop doing that if that's something that you need, but like call a hotline, you know, or like utilize resources that are more reliable, more stable, because then I think about the other side of it. And like, if you're already in a vulnerable position and struggling and feel isolated and feel like AI or ChatGPT or whatever is your only option for support, and that option gives you misinformation, I think that the consequences could be really, really dangerous. And that's a large example, but the consequences just are not worth the risk for me, or like the payoff. I would rather do the extra work and be like, fuck yeah, I did this by myself, than be like, yeah, this report's like half AI. I don't understand. I don't understand feeling cool about that. Being like, yeah, I like did this assignment or this like form for work or this report for work, and I just plugged in all the stuff and AI gave me all the answers and I just shot it off. I'm like, you did not do that. You did not do that report. You did not do that assignment. You did not do any of those things. You basically just handed in like a quick notes for whatever your assignment was. There's people like walking by outside watching me do this, and this is the first time I've ever had that happen, and I'm feeling so awkward. I'm not a public filmer, but in case you see me just like looking over here a bunch, that's why, because people are looking at me through the window. And half of me wants to be like, hi, and the other half wants to hide and run. I'm going to get off the AI soapbox, but I had to pop that in here because I've been struggling with that. I feel like so many people around me are just fully in AI zone, whether it's ChatGPT or something else. It doesn't matter. And I'm worried. I'm worried about it. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't support it. And I think you should think twice about using it, because it is a very slippery slope. And I think that critical thinking is a vital skill, especially right now, okay? Very important skill. that we should be honing and feeling pride in. I think we should feel capable and confident and educated. I would love that for everyone. So yeah, no AI. Okay, on to my next topic, which is also completely unrelated. We're going to talk about healthcare just a little bit. I have spent some time this month with loved ones and on my own dealing with healthcare and our medical system and emergency room, non-emergency room, all of it. Just all of it. So I put up a question on my Instagram page a bit ago because I had spent a very long night in the emergency room with a loved one. And while there were other emergent things going on, absolutely, and I understand it's a tiered system. You know, whoever needs it most goes first. It's not first come, first serve, which, like, fair. It was wild having to sit with someone that I love and care about who was struggling really badly with how they were feeling. Just sit there and watch them and not be able to do anything and have people scrambling all around, and it was stressful. It was stressful. I put up the poll on Instagram asking about privatized healthcare versus non-privatized healthcare. And I'm going to say right now, generally, I don't support the idea of privatized healthcare. I think that healthcare at the same standard should be available to everyone all the time, all the same. We're human beings and everyone deserves to be taken care of at the same level of care, regardless of how you live your life or what you look like or any of that shit. Okay? Just to be clear. But my brain absolutely was playing devil's advocate with myself because in Canada, you know, we pay for our healthcare with taxes, but we have free healthcare for everyone. And so you don't have to worry about going into the hospital or the emergency room and having to pay $100,000 for a checkup like you do in the States. Shots fired. But you do have to wait ridiculous amounts of times for pretty much everything. And that is its own evil in itself. Watching it firsthand has been really hard to just see someone that you love who is physically very ill have to sit around and wait for basic care because our healthcare system is so overloaded and understaffed. And that's not their fault. It's not the fault of the staff. It's not the fault of the nurses, anything like that. But it is dire. It is awful for the staff and the patients. And it just has me thinking about the pros and cons of both. Privatized healthcare would mean that for people that can afford it, it is a lot more accessible at a faster pace. But that leaves out a very large portion of the world because lots of people would not be able to afford privatized healthcare. So is it better to have to wait months or years for treatment that you need to survive over having to pay exorbitant amounts of money to get that care immediately? It's a mind fuck. It's absolutely had me in a chokehold for the entire month because it's so frustrating to deal with it firsthand with myself trying to get some physical stuff figured out and with loved ones being sick and having to deal with the system. It's just frustrating. And it's got me thinking about both sides. Again, I think everyone deserves equal access to good healthcare. And I know that privatized healthcare takes away some of that access. A lot of that access, not even some, a lot of that access. I would be someone that most likely would not be able to regularly afford privatized healthcare services. So, like, I'm part of that band. But if your loved one dies because they can't get in for the care that they need in time, like, it's such a, I just hate it. I've just been like fighting with myself on this internally because I see the pros and cons to both. And this is also, it's a blessing and a curse, okay? I am someone who's able to put myself in the shoes of other people and see all of the perspectives. And while that can be rewarding and helpful, a lot of the time it just sucks. Because I get into these wars with myself where, because I see the validity in both sides of a lot of things, it's hard to know where to stand because I have a good understanding of the positives of both and the negatives of both. And so this one is a hard one for me. And I did the poll, and a lot of people replied that they felt very similarly, that, you know, while privatized healthcare is not the answer, because then a lot of people would just be shut out and have zero access, and a lot of people would die and be ill and have terrible quality of life. And obviously I don't want that for anyone. It's hard. It's really hard. Because I don't want to see people dying and being ill because they can't access the healthcare that they need in time either. Like, it's like, is like money or time. Lots of us don't have either. So, like, what is the better option there? This episode is absolutely, I'm thinking out loud right now, as I've been doing this whole episode so far, is I'm basically just using this podcast episode to dump out all of the things that have been in my brain all month, because I've been just like, go, go, go. I haven't really had a minute to like sort through all of the things that have been going in my brain. So that's what we're doing today. We are emptying the brain and we're sorting through the thoughts, and we're doing it together. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening to this, and I super appreciate anyone like giving me feedback and sending me messages, especially when I like directly reach out and ask a question. I've had a lot of really great feedback, and that helps me. I am someone that at the end of the day, I make my decisions the way that I think they should be made, and that will differ for everyone. That's fine. I try not to put so much stock in the opinions that I gather, but I also definitely look to my loved ones and the people around me for support and opinions too. So I do just want to take a moment and say that I appreciate everyone that interacts with me and talks with me and discusses these things with me, because that's a big basis of this podcast. I want to create conversation and encourage more people to think critically and use their brains as much as they can and feel capable and educated and confident in themselves. And so the more conversations like this that we have, the better, in my opinion. Okay, now I want to talk about something that anyone with tattoos will understand, any number of tattoos. Don't touch people that you don't know. And honestly, don't touch people that you do know unless you like know that's cool. You should be asking for consent before you touch people. I had some lady in Dollarama the other day grab my arm because she really liked the tattoo on my arm. And I was like, don't fucking touch me. I did not want to engage in conversation with her after, because she grabbed me out of nowhere and like, she just wanted to talk about tattoos. She was a fine person. She was like kind enough, but don't touch people you don't know. Just because someone has tattoos doesn't mean it's okay to grab them and like touch their skin. That's weird. Don't do that. Stop doing that. I'm just going to add in here that consent of any type and gathering consent of any kind is hot, and I encourage you to do it. Doesn't matter if it's with your partner, if it's with someone you're dating, if you have a crush on them, if it's your friend, if it's your mom, doesn't matter. Consent is hot, and you should ask for it. I have just come to the realization that I think I accidentally pressed the pause button on my mic at one point, and I'm not sure when. So we're going to be editing this podcast episode not knowing what parts actually recorded or not. So that's going to be fun. I said there was going to be a bit of a pep talk, and so we're going to do that, and then we're going to round out the episode. I don't know how much lead up to the pep talk actually got captured, but just for a little background, just in case, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. We learned that at a very young age. Spending your time being mean to other people on the internet is more of a reflection of you than it is of them. And the people that are wrong are always the loudest. So keep that in mind if you're dealing with some bullshit. I don't have a lot of patience or time for that kind of thing. I don't spend a ton of time on the internet anyways, and when I do, I am very specific and intentional about the content that I take in and that I put out. So I kind of have my own little cozy corner in the internet, and anyone that I think is breaching my boundaries is immediately removed. I don't fuck with that shit. If you're a bully or a mean person or vindictive or anything like that, and you're using your energy directly to harm people, I want nothing to do with you. Gonna make that very clear. But yeah, a lot of people around me are struggling in various different ways, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally. It's all over the map. And so I kind of wanted to just take a minute at the end of this episode and talk to everyone that listens to this and watches this, and just kind of be real for a sec. Extra real. We're always real. We don't lie over here, but life is hard. Okay? Life for, I think, the majority of people is really difficult right now. Whether it's finances, whether it's your health, whether it's your relationships. I think that because the world is in such an inflamed state right now, lots of people are feeling a lot of pressure and a lot of stress and just emotional dysregulation. I think a lot of us are kind of on autopilot, just going through the motions of the days to get us through so that we can lay in our beds at the end of the night and breathe and try to get some sleep. On a grand scale, there's a lot of really scary and awful things happening, and not being able to make a difference or help or impact can also be really taxing. To be bombarded with videos and articles about genocide and war and all of this horrible, awful shit, and having no control other than just kind of speaking out about it, donating when you can to causes that can maybe help. It feels very minimal. So while a lot of us are feeling a lot of pressure and a lot of weight, there isn't a whole lot we can do to remove it. And it leaves a lot of people feeling really isolated, really helpless, and defeated. I've been dealing with that. My loved ones have been dealing with that. At the end of the day, you cannot do it by yourself, and you don't have to do it by yourself. Everyone has one person. There's got to be one person in your life that's got you to some capacity. Even if it's just to be a sounding board, sit in a room in silence together so that you don't have to be alone. reach out to people, talk to people, share who you are with people, because isolation is such a horrible and diminishing thing to feel. I am someone that has worked very hard for a very long time on being able to manage and regulate my emotions in a healthy way, not only for myself, but so that I can extend that to others. And so I specifically want to take this moment with you, even if we don't know each other, if we've never met, never spoke, you've just come across this video and this is like a one-off and you're hearing this. If you need someone to talk to or bounce your thoughts off of, or you're struggling and you feel like you're alone and you can't find that one person to support you, please message me. I hate the fact that there's people around me that feel like they have nowhere to go, or that they have no one to go to, that they're alone, or that they don't have support. Not going to get too emotional, but I know what that feels like. And I was talking to someone close to me about this before recording and just saying that, like, I'm in a place in my life where I've done so much work on myself and my evolution and my healing, and I have dealt with so much shit that I was carrying around for such a long time. I just want to be the person that I wish I had had when I was going through it. And I love having the opportunity to, talk people out of the box and help people feel supported. If I can give like 5 minutes of my time to help someone pull themselves up off the floor, that's so crazy worth it to me, that I want you to know that I am a safe space, I am an open space, and I am here to give any support that I'm able to give you. Everything in the world is really stressful and really hard for most of us, and no one deserves to feel like they are dealing with it by themselves. So the biggest thing I think that I want you to know is that you are not alone. And regardless of what you're going through right now, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever you're struggling with, there is someone in the world that loves and cares about you and that wants you to succeed and that wants you to do well and that cares about your well-being. And I need you to know that they are rooting for you. I am rooting for you. I wholeheartedly believe that right now the world needs more compassion and support and love, just like human to human. And it sucks. It's so hard to see so many people around me struggling with so many things right now. I just want to give everyone a huge hug and tell you that you are loved and that you are worthy and you are cared for and supported, and you deserve all of the good things that are going to come your way. Even if it feels really hard right now, you got this. I am rooting for you. I believe in you. And there is always at least one person celebrating the fact that you are a part of their world. Okay, I'm starting to get very emotional, so I have to stop doing that. That's my little pep talk. My DMs, my emails, if you have my number, my door is always open. My ear is always open. I'm always here for a hug. I love a good hug, okay? Don't go through shit alone if you don't have to. Reach out to your support systems. Reach out to me if you don't have a direct support system. I will be that system for you. Yeah. You don't got to do this by yourself. Friends, this recording session has been a bit of a trip. I thought I lost half the audio. It turns out I didn't lose any of the audio. so that's great. I thought I lost half the footage. I lost like a minute or two of footage, which was not that bad. And I was just wrapping up the video anyways. My phone died and I was recording and I hadn't paid attention to how charged it was. So that was my own fault. But we're wrangling it in. Okay. We're finishing it up. I was literally just wrapping up the video when my phone died. So it was kind of okay timing. And it ended up that I didn't lose as much as I thought I did. So we made it through. Okay. I'm a little off my game today because it's been a while and I've been so busy that my brain is just like taking full advantage of just a chill day today where it hasn't really had to do much. I'm just stoked to order myself in some food and watch some movies and have a cozy night in and just relax and feel good about the fact that I got out a June episode. I'm very excited for July's episode. I have a week at the lake with my family every year. We do it annually. It is my grandparents, my aunt and uncle and their kids, my mom and stepdad, and my brother and I look forward to it literally all year. It's so much fun and I just like love being in nature. So I'm going to be bringing you a personal episode in July with my family, maybe. I haven't prompted them about that, and that's up to them whether they want to be in the episode or not. But I will be coming to you from the lake and just recording the episode while I'm up there and in my element, sharing a little bit more of my personal life. And I will possibly have another episode coming in July with a very exciting guest. I said guests, but I've had a few guests cancel and like not be able to figure out schedules. I've had some things come up in my personal life that have kind of restricted my schedule as well. So I'm really hoping that this next guest like ends up working out the way that we have it scheduled and like sit down, because I've been really excited to sit down and talk with this person and just like share them on my podcast as well. And so I'm really hoping that turns out. I feel like I keep jinxing myself a little bit where I'm like, I'm so excited for the next guest, and then it just doesn't happen. And I'm like, well, hello, it's just me again. Which is great. I also love doing the solo episodes, and you guys like that too. But I'm hoping that works out. So I will have one episode for sure in July, if not two. And the personal one is going to be a little extra personal. So, you know, we're moving, we're evolving with the podcast. I'm excited about how it's going. And I just appreciate that you're here with me. I appreciate that you spent this time with me. I am really glad that I ended up getting this out in June and that I hit the mark, got it out once a month. You know, we're going to make it happen, whether it's the last day or the first day or right in the middle. It doesn't matter. If it's in the month, it's in the month. That's how we're going about it. Thank you so much for being here with me today and for listening to this episode or watching this episode. Make sure to do all of the things to help me get this podcast out into the world. Share, subscribe, follow, like, whatever the things are. And I will catch you in the next episode that is coming out in July. I will announce that as it comes out, as I did for this episode. Probably closer to the end of the month again, because my lake trip is a little bit later in the month, but we'll get it out by the end of July. Thank you so much for being here today, and I hope the rest of your Monday is as magic as you are.